Loki broke the temporal loom and gave everyone free will. Most people think what Loki did was heroic, but it's not. He caused all multiversal problems, and he is the reason why anchor beings exist and why they matter now. If we look at events before Loki broke the loom, everything was fine. There was no multiversal chaos before that. And that brings another question. Was he who remains right? I'm Mr. Plot Pusher, and today we're breaking down exactly how Loki created anchor beings, and why he who remains was right. Guys, remember the conversation between He Who Remains, Loki, and Sylvie from Season 1's last episode? He Who Remains said that he isolated our timeline, but he actually lied about that. As we know, and as Marvel confirmed, the sacred timeline is not a single timeline. It is a bundle of timelines, or I would say universes. And he managed the flow of time so that timelines kept running in a loop. Now, it was true that he was actually preventing the multiversal war. But the big lie is he did not isolate one timeline. He took all timelines and put them in the sacred timeline, which is a bundle, not a single timeline. He Who Remains lied about this because he saw the multiversal war and did not want to see it again. Also, he had lived too long, so he wanted Loki to replace him and monitor everything like he did for many years. And his plan was actually right, because the multiverse was in a good and stable state as long as he was in power. Now look at the conversation from Season 2's finale. He Who Remains tells Loki how the temporal loom actually works. The temporal loom is a failsafe. If the loom gets overloaded with branches, it deletes the ones that aren't supposed to be there. Everything except the sacred timeline. So when Loki breaks the loom, all of that control is gone. The multiverse collapses. Branched timelines grow across past, present, and future. And because of multiversal travel, incursions also started. Now when a new branched timeline grows, it needs an anchor being to survive. And here's my theory on how that actually works. A branched timeline gets created because of a specific person, and that person becomes the anchor being of that new timeline, like Logan in X-Men Days of Future Past. And this was confirmed by Marvel in Deadpool and Wolverine. And if that anchor being dies, the timeline starts fading and turns to spaghetti. Exactly like we saw in Loki Season 2. Now, as we know, the TVA is not strong enough to control a full multiversal threat anymore. So it won't be hard for someone like Dr. Doom to take them down. But here's what's interesting. Everything we just talked about is only about branched timelines. What about anchor beings of timelines that are not branched from the start? I mean, universes which were already in the sacred timeline. Let's find out. But before we move forward, make sure you liked and subscribed to our channel. As we know, He Who Remains claimed he was preventing the multiversal war, but that's not the full truth. He was protecting the sacred timeline from the Beyonders. He knew what kind of power they possessed, and he was scared of them. That's why he built the temporal loom as a failsafe.
The temporal loom is a failsafe. When the loom is overloaded with branches, it deletes the ones that aren't supposed to be there. Everything except the sacred timeline.
Now, after the events of Loki, the Beyonders appear in the MCU, because the events of the Spider-Man animated series happened after that. And there are rumors that the Beyonders will appear either in Doomsday or Secret Wars. He Who Remains also figured out something important. A timeline can be destroyed, but it cannot be created from nothing. That's when he discovered anchor beings. They existed from the start. But as long as the loom existed, whenever an anchor being died, the loom restarted the loop. So even if anchor beings existed, they didn't really matter because time always ran in a loop. But now, the loom is gone. Anchor beings are important now. As Kevin Feige confirmed, they will be pivotal after Endgame. They will be an important part of Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. That's it for this video, guys. So basically, Loki created the anchor beings, and He Who Remains was right all along. Now, if you want to know what Dr. Doom's plan actually is and how it connects to all of this, that video is right here. I'm Mr. Plot Pusher. Subscribe for more.